93% of the general public in the United States thinks that arts programs are vital in providing for a well-rounded education. 86% also agree that an arts education assists and improves a child's attitude towards school. And more than 79% believe that incorporating arts programs back into everyday curriculum is the first and most important step in adding back what's missing in education today. Recently, the economic crisis has led to a downfall in arts programs across the country. As people actively involved in the public school system, you know of many talented young students interested in arts programs. You also know that many of these students rarely get a chance to use their talents and express themselves artistically. Arts programs are just as vital to a child's education as math, reading, and science. Due to the recent economic crisis, arts programs in schools are being cut, and our children are the ones who suffer for it. I ask you to contact your state representatives today and ask them to find a way to put arts programs back into the public school system. I've outlined the problem and what needs to happen, and let me explain more thoroughly. When the state cuts arts budgets, we lose important programs that help our youth excel. These budget cuts started as a way to relieve financial pressure created by our bad economy. According to our school business manager, most public schools have less funding than private schools do, and so they must split up their limited resources accordingly. Even though classes like art and music are mandatory, some schools fire art teachers to save money and give classes like art appreciation to social studies teachers. When schools do this, it takes away from the students' education and doesn't give them the correct foundation and understanding to use the arts to their advantage in academics. Martin Mariah, art, media, and design consultant for the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction, says that schools that cut arts programs end up spending more money on education in the next 3 years, and test scores in other areas actually go down. Most people don't understand that he's correct. Arts programs are actually as important as, or more so, than math, science, and English. According to a study of how art affects learning, conducted and reported by Sandra Roper, without arts programs, average SAT scores drop 100 points on verbal and math alone. Champions of Change, another study of how art affects learning, found that students without arts programs have more than double the chance of dropping out, as opposed to students who do have arts programs in their school. 30% of students who participated in fine arts actively participated in community service, as opposed to 6% of those who did not. 82.6% of 8th graders nationally earned A's and B's in math, science, and English, when heavily involved with the arts programs, in comparison to 62.7% of 8th graders who earned A's and B's in those subjects who were not involved in arts programs. Another study, conducted by UCLA, used 2,500 students nationwide who actively participated in arts programs to find that those students reported less boredom from school, fewer hours of TV watched, and more community service performed as a direct result of their arts training. Other little recognized byproducts of state budget cuts are the emotional and physical effects on children, parents, communities, and even states. Ryan Hurley, a member of the Wisconsin Education Association Council, says that arts in Wisconsin have an economic impact of more than $289 million annually, while costing the state less than $5 million per biennium, or a period of 2 years. Losing income like that hurts the state much more than cutting the programs would have done it good. Many children feel the loss of their favorite programs and are trying to reach out to someone to make it stop. Take Marissa, the 13-year-old student at Yonkers Middle School, who recently lost her music program, award-winning choir, and beloved teacher to budget cuts. She posts videos on YouTube, dedicating her songs to her teacher and talking about how painful school is without the music program there to support her. Now that you know what the problem really entails, I'm going to propose a solution. The survival of arts programs can be ensured by asking state representatives to use more funding toward these programs and to find other, less important areas to relieve the financial pressure. The public education system functions mostly on money from a federal level. If we were to put more money into education, instead of bailing debt-ridden banks out or cleaning up after companies like British Petroleum, public schools would have the funding to relieve the financial pressure put on them by the government and the economic crisis. Because arts programs aren't government tested, nor can they be really, many districts are pressured to cut those programs first. Arts programs can only function with a certain amount of money for materials and other costs, just like any other program. Write to your state representative and show them that you, as a voter and a taxpayer, care about what happens to your children, and that you want something changed, and that you will not go away until something gets changed. Respect the process, but don't let up on the pressure. In the meantime, take initiative and start raising money for arts programs on your own. Partner with local businesses, propose something to the school board, start a community foundation. You can even hold a bake sale. Just start rolling that snowball. If you'd like, take the time to write a letter to President Obama. National movements have been started because a few people wanted to make a difference for all. They wanted something changed to make the future better and brighter. Work hard and start a national movement. When you succeed, arts programs are never again without arts programs are never again without funding. You will find the younger generation changed. Students will be more involved in their schools and their communities, more excited about going to school and learning, and be happier and have more self-esteem. With less teen depression, suicide, and violence, and more activism, participation, eagerness, and willingness to enact change, and hope for the future, we'll be looking at a much brighter generation for our world. You now know how to enact change. Get up and go for it. Get involved in the system and start a chain reaction. If you're a teacher, find a creative way to incorporate arts into your curriculum. If you're a parent, put pressure on the school board to create more arts opportunities for your students. If you're a student, talk to your teachers about putting arts back into their curriculum. Each of you can write a letter to our state representative. As Gandhi said, we must be the change we wish to see in the world. You know how important arts programs are for student health, education, social stance, and overall well-being. I urge each of you to make a difference, to take a stand, and give your youth the opportunity to achieve greatness. Thank you. Are there any questions?
You mentioned that public schools are mostly funded by federal dollars. Where did you find that information?
I asked our business manager, I think, and I talked to school employees.
Okay, that's a little bit flawed, but we could talk about that at another time. About the programs themselves, how would you account for, say, a program like that's in this school, which we have a rich music art program, but students choose not to take them, or they take other courses instead of the music and art programs, causing it to dwindle?
I think because we're such a small school, we don't have enough students who are really interested in those programs, or we have problems like they run up against courses that are mandatory. So if we had more students, or we had a looser schedule, I guess, then it would be a lot easier, because I know I would take band, but I'm not allowed to as a Running Start student. And that's just because there's too many classes, there's too much going on for me, but I would like to take band. Any other questions?
You mentioned that there's a connection between art and doing well in other subjects, math, science. Did you find what that connection was? Like, does it cause, increased creative thinking, increased analytical skills?
Studies show that exposure to arts at a young age improves math literacy, and throughout high school it actually boosts your critical thinking and literacy level, so that when you're exposed to art programs and arts in creative ways, you look at other problems from outside the box. You find different solutions. It's the same solution, but you find different ways around it. So you're not stuck in one way of thinking. You have numerous ways of going about it.